What's going on, people? If you're looking for sample packs full of percussive grooves, then look no further than my website. The link's in the description, and whilst you're there, you can use code YouTube20 to get 20% off absolutely everything. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. I put a story up on my Instagram about a week ago asking people to submit tracks for feedback, and I said I would record a video. So yeah, that is what this video is about today. I might even make this a monthly thing if it goes down well. And thank you for the people who have submitted tracks to me as well. We've got 6 to go through today. And yeah, I think the format's basically going to be I'm going to listen through. If I hear anything as I go, I'll pause it and mention it, and then sort of give my overall feedback on the track at the end as well. Also, if there is any tracks that, yeah, if there's any labels listening to this and they like a track on here, just drop me a message and I'm sure I can get you in contact with the person who submitted the track to me. But yeah, cool. Let's get in it. Cool. So the first one's from Bailey J. It's called Keep On. So just listen to this track at the minute. For me personally, the groove is nice, but something more needs to happen. So at the minute, it's sort of just gone a little bit flat, and it's quite repetitive since that sort of first drop. But yeah, let's continue and see what comes up. Again, for me, in that section there, I would have added something else, maybe just to fill it out a little bit more. The sort of tempo went a little bit sort of dead. It was sort of like everything was quite quiet, but the effect was like really loud. In a club, it might kill the vibe a little bit. Um, sort of like what you've done with the vocal, but I think it needs like yeah something else to sort of bulk that out a little bit, and just sort of keep the listener interested. And in the club's case, sort of the dance floor interested as well. It could just be like vocal shots, a little synth, background noise, maybe like a few fills, snare rolls, just stuff to like fill it out to make sure that it doesn't fall too flat when you're dropping elements out. A lot of time I like to use the rule of when you take something out, you put something else in. So if you're taking all your drums out, make sure there's enough stuff in there to still keep the energy and keep the track interesting. Another thing with the mix as well, I think the kick's a little bit too quiet. The drums seem quite loud, so yeah, maybe there's a little bit more balancing to do there between your sort of low end and your high end. So as I said before, you've actually got a synth in this part, so maybe use that in the other section as well. And maybe do some sort of variation in this part, or maybe change your arrangement slightly. So yeah, you definitely on the right lines with adding this synth in here to make sure that this is filled out. But you can even see by the waveform of sort of how much is taken out in this section compared to here. So yeah, you're definitely along the right lines. I think it's just about arranging the track a little bit better, maybe to make sure that you're making the most out of the elements you already have in the track. Anyway, so overall, yeah, a good track there. Just a few things that I noticed that obviously I went through when it was playing. But yeah, no, good job. Let's move on to the next one. It's called Ashiko. It's by Jonas van Obstar. Just as you probably noticed there, Jonas has had his track professionally mastered by Guti at Audio 3K. It is important to have a mastered version of your track when you send it to a label or out as promo. As you can tell, the difference between the volume of Bailey's track and Jonas's is a really big difference. And if you want your track to have the best opportunity of getting signed or played, it's always better to have at least a master, if not a mixed down and master. Cool, let's get back into it. Again, similar to the previous track, maybe sort of at this point something else could be added in. You've obviously got the vocal, which is quite like a powerful element in the track. Um, but yeah, I think maybe needs to develop a little bit more. You had like a cool effect, synthy noise in here, like maybe something like that could play a little bit more, or maybe you could have another vocal that is a bit more prevalent in the mix and playing off that main vocal you've got running through most of the track. A good way of developing these like second parts of your track is to actually sort of do that bit first. So if you're working like an 8 or 16 bar loop, create a call and response between two elements that you can use in that second sort of 16 bars of the main 32 bars of your track. And then for the first 16, just take it out and then add it in for the second. So just build it out that way. It's not necessarily always the case that you need to, add something into a nearly finished track. If you add something like that in right at the start and work around it, it just gives an extra bit of like depth to your track. And yeah, and can just be a little bit easier with your workflow. Yeah, so that sort of break in the track, you could maybe, try and take the drums out for a little bit and add something else in, like a synth sound, like I said in the last track, and just build that tension a little bit more before it drops, because you've got this sort of vocal and this really like impactful kick and bass, but there's not that much tension in the break. It's sort of quite static in the way it goes up into the drop. Um, and then because you've got the repetitive vocal in there, the listener doesn't really get a break from just what they've been hearing for the last minute or two. So, yeah, maybe on your next track, look at having like a section where there's a bit more of a break, like the one, like I said with the other one, sorry. Yeah, you need to add elements in, snare roll, maybe drum fills, synths, extra vocals, atmosphere, different build effects. Yeah. Yeah, overall, mate, the production quality is high on that track. Just, yeah, probably needs a little bit more variation and maybe give the listener a break from maybe like the vocal or the sort of same sort of drum groove. Cool, next one. So it's by Langel. Apologies if I've absolutely butchered that, but yeah, Langel. It's called Kong. One thing I've noticed so far with this is the mix is slightly off. The clap is quite high, and the hi-hats seem quite low in the mix. So maybe just a little bit balancing out, a little bit of EQing or compression is needed there. Really liking them sort of like atmospheric, sort of nature sounding atmos you've got in the background. Sounding cool. So there's an example of how you can take an element out like the bass or auto filter the bass, but still keep that tension in the track by adding other elements in. So yeah, good job on having something come into the track when you've taken something out. It really sort of already it's starting to build that tension for when it's going to drop. Again, having these sort of vocals coming in, you know, it's letting the listener know or the audience know that something's about to happen. Get ready for it, and it's then going to make the drop more powerful. Yeah, it's a really different track, that mate. It's like a mix between like a sort of tech house, Afro-y, progressive house track. Yeah, it's quite cool. I've not heard many tracks that sound like that. So yeah, no, good job on that. Next one is by MOE, Mo, Money Over Everything. Party Starter, this one's called. Let's get into it. Already liking the groove on this one. another great example of having things in a breakdown that keep it interesting, like the changing pattern on the synth or like the repeating of the synth, the vocals, the snare, the effects. There's a lot going on, so it's really keeping the energy up even when it's the break and adding that tension. That noise you've got in the break, I actually think that could be used like in the main part of the track here as well. I'm not sure you probably will use it here, but I'll listen. But yeah, um, it's a cool noise, that sort of synth, like old 90s hip hop style synth. See that little noise that come in, it just keeps you interested, it keeps it grooving. Yeah, really liking this so far, mate. There you go, just as I said, I'm sure you were going to use it because it would have been rude not to. Yeah, no, sounding cool. Track's progressing nicely. Yeah, it's really, really nice groove of this. The only thing I will say about sort of like the vocals and effects you've got, it does sound like they're like sort of like copied and pasted, so like the same things happen over and over again, like every 8 bars. So yeah, it might be worth like just changing one of the vocals up for another vocal or adding like another vocal in. The groove is cool and the elements you've got in are cool. It's just sounded a little bit like there's a bit of a copy and paste going on from like the quite early on in the track to like now. So yeah, that's probably the only thing so far that is sort of sticking out to me a little bit. Yeah, just really like that track. Sick job on that one, mate. Yeah, really, really, really like that one. Next one is Joe Owen. I don't know if this one's called No Art Style or you've done a track in the style of No Art, but yeah, let's take a listen. liking the music on Amnesia Terrorist style vocals coming in. Vocal, I mean synth. For me, again, something in this section maybe needs to happen. It's sort of dying off a little bit. It's sort of like struggling to keep the momentum and become a little bit repetitive in the last 8 or 16 bars. So maybe having something, that comes in a little bit earlier into the drop or adds another element into this section, might help it. Or just adding a bit more variation to the groove. So having that call and response over 16 bars, 32 bars, just to keep it, to keep the listener interested, as I've said before on a few of the other tracks. Yeah, solid track there, mate. Yeah, it's a nice track. Just maybe in that sort of final 8 to 16 bars, that main section, just something a little bit more needs to happen. But overall, it's a solid track. So yeah, good job on that one. Next one and the last one is called Lethal Weapon. I believe this is by someone called Zed, who sent it to me on Instagram. So yeah, let's take a listen. So I don't know what's on this track in terms of a limiter maybe, but it seems like it's been pushed really hard because someone just clipped then. So yeah, maybe just check what you've got on your mastering chain, or or if you're pushing them a little bit too hard. For me on this one, the bass is sounding a little bit muddy. It's quite taking over my ears at the minute a little bit. So yeah, just maybe a little bit of EQing needs to be done on that. Yeah, so something there that sounds like it's clashing. I'm just going to play that again to make sure it's not something that's on my computer. Yeah, there's a glitchy effect or something in the background that is definitely like not in time with the track, so it sort of sounds like there's like static on the track. Again, it could just be that it seems to be clipping at the minute the track, so yeah, it could just be that as well.
Drop the top, West Coast white. Drop the top, drop the top, drop the top, West Coast white. Drop the top, drop the top, West Coast white. Drop.
Yeah, I think whatever you've got in your mastering chain is causing this track to clip quite bad. Super important if you are going to try and sort of put a DJ master on something that you don't like ruin a perfectly good track, and then when you send it out, our label would just decline it straight away because yeah, for me at the minute, all I can really hear is just like the static and like the clipping of the track. So yeah, just be super careful that you've made sure that any limiter you've put on isn't getting pushed too hard. Yeah, unfortunately, mate, it's actually quite difficult for me to give feedback on this one just because it's clipping so badly. But yeah, um, send me a new track, and on the next one I'll do feedback on that. So yeah, no, thank you for everyone for sending your tracks in. I hope that's been helpful. Obviously, you've all got my Instagram because that's how I've got all the tracks. So if you've got any questions about anything that I've said, or want to discuss it further, just give me a shout. And if there's anyone watching this as well who wants to send me a track for feedback, my Instagram handle is in the comment, the description. Sorry. So yeah, just drop me a DM, and I'm sure I can add it to the sort of like next month's one if this becomes a monthly thing. So no, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, click on the link here to watch another.